National VIPs, President and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines, His Rodrigo Rua Duterte. Secretary of National Defense, Honorable Delfin Negrelo Lorenzana. Military VIPs, Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Andres C. Centino, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Commanding General, Philippine Army, General Romeo S. Bronner Jr., Armed Forces of the Philippines. Commander, Army Reserve Command, Major General Fernando V. Felipe, Philippine Army. Group Commander, 9th Regional Community Defense Group, Colonel Patricio S. Tumales, Infantry, General Staff Force, Philippine Army. Commander, 902nd Zamboanga del Norte Community Defense Center, Major Eladio V. Lumantas, Civil Engineer, Philippine Army. President, GRMSU System, Dr. Delinda R. Laput. NSTP Director, Dr. Richard J. Demiel. NSTP Unit Head, Dr. Noel J. Lopisilio. Commandant, GRMSU Army ROTC Unit, Major Eladio B. Lumanta, Civil Engineer, Philippine Army. Assistant Commandant, 2nd Lieutenant Nicanor B. Obnimaga, Reserve Philippine Army. Chief Clerk, Corporal Roderick C. Acoimo, Infantry, Philippine Army. Tactical Officer, Captain Cesar C. Bala, Reserve Philippine Army. 2nd Lieutenant Joe Peter M. Villeros, Reserve Philippine Army. Senior Tactical NCO's Reservist, Admin NCO, Sergeant Jornel R. Laput, Reserve Philippine Army. Tactical NCO Reservist, Private First Class Johnry A. Maglasang, Infantry, Philippine Army. Staff Sergeant Gerald Rich H. Soto, Reserve Philippine Army. Staff Sergeant Michael Ray Elvin S. Boreros, Reserve Philippine Army. Sergeant Nancy E. Aranzuez, Reserve Philippine Army. Sergeant Maynard O. Comisilia, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Rodel Chi Patangan, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Richie A. De La Rosa, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Charlene E. Tagapan, Reserve Philippine Army. Graduate Military Assistant, Private Adams N. Sumalpong, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Nelo B. Lagradila, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Jefferson Paglinawan, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Rico Jack J. Tawataw, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Glenmar G. Ulinan, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Shahara May M. Halin, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Jezreel M. Pascolado, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Vincent Jubilee G. Cadano, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Ray R. Dayaw, Reserve Philippine Army. Private John Ray P. Valladares, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Jobin Ray E. Sakal, Reserve Philippine Army. Private John Fritz C. Cuenca, Reserve Philippine Army. Private John Paul P. Yurong, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Michelle B. Andicoy, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Vance Alistair L. Pagasian, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Mark Hel S. Lagamon, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Glyzel Faith D. Carino, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Liza Claire C. Canuog, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Gizaline Elopri, Reserve Philippine Army. Private Mabel B. Singkay, Reserve Philippine Army. Brigade Corps Commander, Cadet Colonel J. P. Montederamos, ROTC First Class. XO Disciplinary Officer, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Roderick L. Cadorna, ROTC First Class. Brigade S1, Adjutant Officer, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Bless T. Manlupig, ROTC First Class. Brigade S2, Intelligence Officer, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ronel V. Bailon, ROTC First Class. Brigade S3, Operation Officer, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ramel P. Samson, ROTC First Class. Brigade S4, Logistic Officer, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Shelami P. Azores, ROTC First Class. Brigade S7, Liaison Officer, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Jamaica S. Lagudas, ROTC First Class. 1st Battalion Commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Jomari T. Osabel, ROTC First Class. 2nd Battalion Commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Gifford C. Ferigura, ROTC First Class. 1st Battalion XO Disciplinary, Cadet Major John Mark T. Clemenia, ROTC First Class. Battalion S1 Adjutant, Cadet Major Kathleen Rose E. Apaw, ROTC First Class. Battalion S2 Intelligence, Cadet Major Jericho T. Osabel, ROTC First Class. Battalion S3 Operation, Cadet Major Jason A. Hamarulin, ROTC First Class. Battalion S4 Logistic, Cadet Major Maria Aluna Jane B. Alfon, ROTC First Class. Battalion S7 Liaison, Cadet Major Chenly R. Silva, ROTC First Class. 2nd Battalion XO Disciplinary, Cadet Major Brian P. Banuelos, ROTC First Class. Battalion S1 Adjutant, Cadet Major Robelin B. Magnawong, ROTC First Class. Battalion S2 Intelligence, Cadet Major Hansel D. Zuzubrado, ROTC First Class. Battalion S3 Operation, Cadet Major Raymark O. Lakay, ROTC First Class. Battalion S4 Logistic, Cadet Major Mary Joy C. Maghinay, ROTC First Class. Battalion S7 Liaison, Cadet Major Roella Bernadette B. Kinlog, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Mary Chris A. Lidama, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Aaron J. Kalasang, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Stephen J. F. Takliad, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Jovinal P. Katilok, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Christian G. Sardani, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Arian F. N. Palangan, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Baby Janela G. Caniete, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Geno A. Carbonilla, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Kent O. Dampaila, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Raymart S. Anyo, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Brittany D. Agwit, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Rickman V. Cabanag, ROTC First Class. Cadet Major Mark Jen L. Proceso, ROTC First Class. Cadet Captain Lester V. D. Ikaw, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Richard S. Zamuras, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Joseph B. Miral, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Erwin T. Palomares, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Aurelio L. Flores Jr., ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Kent Roy F. Maghanoy, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Rowan Vincent A. Sumanduran, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Jefferson N. Makiling, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Blaze Jason H. Whiting, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Mi Angel S. Cunato, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Raymar B. Bimos, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain John Kenneth D. Desardo, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Jonathan M. Gumanad, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Kevin M. Dilicano, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Lench Kyle S. Abapo, ROTC Second Class. Cadet Captain Lovell Jane T. Maginsay, ROTC Second Class. Military Professionalism. Men who adopt the profession of arms submit their own free will to the law of perpetual constraints of their own accord. They reject the right to live where they choose, to say what they think, to dress as they like. From the moment they become soldiers, it needs but an order to settle them in this place, to move them to that, to separate them from their families and dislocate their normal lives. In the world of command, they must rise, march, run, endure bad weather, and go out without sleep or food, be isolated in some distant post, work until they drop. They have ceased to be the master of their own fate. If they drop on their tracks, their ashes shall be scattered in the four winds. That is all part and parcel of their job. Pledge of loyalty. If you work for a man, in heaven's name, work for him, speak well of him, and stand by the institution that he represents. Remember, an ounce of loyalty is worth a pound of cleverness. If you must growl, condemn, and eternally find fault, why not resign your position? And when you are in the outside, damn to your heart's contents. But as long as you are a part of this institution, do not condemn it. If you do, the first high wind that comes along will blow you away, and probably you will never know why. Military courtesy, an act of politeness, civility, and respect that a personnel in the military organization accord to one another. Military discipline. It is a state of order and obedience existing within a command. Military leadership. It is the process of influencing men in such a manner as to accomplish the mission. Military secrecy. What you see, what you hear, when you leave it here. Salute is the highest form of courtesy. 11 General Orders. Number 1, to take charge of this post and all government property in view. Number 2, to walk my post in a military manner, keeping always on alert and observing everything takes place within sight or hearing. Number 3, to report all violation of orders I am instructed to enforce. Number 4, to repeat all calls from posts more distant from the guardhouse than my own. Number 5, to quit my post only when properly relieved. Number 6, to receive, obey, and pass on the sentinel who relieves me all order from the commanding officer, officer of the day, and non-commissioned officer of the guard only. Number 7, to talk to no one except in line of duty. Number 8, to give the alarm in case of fire or disorder. Number 9, to call the commander of the guard in any case not covered by instruction. Number 10, to salute all officers, colors, and standard not case. Number 11, to be especially watchful at night and during the time of challenging, to challenge all persons on or near my post, and to allow no one to pass without proper authority.